let's talk about your ex-player, now Arsenal player, Merino.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? You saw the game. I've never known Merino until he came to Arsenal.
Okay.
So I didn't know that he was a Newcastle player.
Yeah.
So is there a difference or how?
Okay, so he played with us for 1 season during Rafa Benitez's era.
Outside the Premier League?
No. When we came up, when we got promoted again.
Yeah.
So Rafa bought him over. He played 1 season before he was loaned out and then sold subsequently, right?
I think he was immediately sold.
He was
immediately sold.
Yeah, no, I think yes.
Immediately sold or something, but he only played with us for a season. He didn't really perform very well, but before he really performed in Sociedad, Real Sociedad, and I think that's where everybody, he caught the attention of Arteta, and he wanted, like what you said earlier, Declan Rice and him. It needs to be a two-man partnership kind of a thing for Declan Rice and the way Arteta wants the holding midfielder role to be played. Right, so Merino fits that criteria, especially how he's been performing in Real Sociedad. He wasn't really the same in Newcastle when he was playing for us.
Different position or?
No, pretty much the same. In a very holding midfielder kind of a role. I think the friendly in the States, was it a friendly in the States, his first game when he was playing for us? And he did this outward boot cross, right? And who was our striker then? I can't recall. But Rondon, I think was it Rondon?
Yes.
And Rondon actually chased the ball, and this was just a friendly, and that was very,
impressive lah.
Impressed me very well. But he didn't show the same antics when he came, when the Premier League started. And I think that was just done. That was a very good deal.
That was 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, as a player, then probably he was still much younger. So he didn't have the necessary experience, the know-how to play in the Premier League.
Actually,
so he has matured lah, basically.
Very much so.
But actually, I hold a different view. When I first saw him play for Newcastle, I thought, this guy is going to be a class act. I actually wanted us to keep him. Unfortunately, we couldn't. I blame Rafa Benitez for a very long time. Until recently, Merino came out to say, look, he wasn't really interested in staying in Newcastle, so I just wasn't meant to be. But when I saw him play, then I thought this guy is going to be a class player, and I think he showed in the Euros, especially. I think coming on to be something of a tempo dictator, if you will. And then coming in clutch to score that equalizer or the winning goal against Germany, right? So I think that really showed the world what Newcastle fans, I think some Newcastle fans saw. Yeah, I mean, it was just a shame. I guess, like I said, probably wrong timing and all that. Maybe he wasn't very experienced or mature at that time, but people do age and get better, so that's probably what happened with him.
Okay, let's talk about the other way. Joe Willock, ex-Arsenal. Now Newcastle player. I think there was a period he was injured, I guess. So I've been following him, but how do you guys find him?
You guys want to start off?
I think Joe Willock, I would classify him as the new age centre midfield player, especially being English. He is very atypical. He doesn't play the English way. I think that is his problem. But the way he plays, he has got power, right? He brings the ball up, he brings the whole team up easily 15-20 meters up the field. And that is something we always miss whenever he doesn't play for us.
Right.
So he's not first 11, right?
Because he just came back from So last season, we missed him so much. He was injured almost the whole season, right? I think you talk about him being that new age centre midfield player. You look at the current England squad. Who's there? If you ask me, he continues to do what he's been doing. I'm pretty sure he'll get called up again, for sure.
I think what Hyrule mentioned is something that probably every Newcastle fan and maybe even every neutral observer in football sees. Like, he helps to push the team forward. And it's really it's not as if he just takes the ball and dribble past 10 people. He brings the ball forward and he moves your team up every 10 yards or so. And slowly when you move up, right, as we all play football, if you move up, you have less pressure because you're not defending all the time. You're pressuring other people, you are putting them under pressure, right? So I do agree. So Joe Willock has been missed in the Newcastle team over the last season, and I think a bit of this season as well. And I think it showed that he gave the team a bit of balance and a bit of a push when he came back for this game against Arsenal. I guess that's also part of the reason why the plan was executed well and we won.
And I think the one thing about Joe Willock is, I don't know, I look at him as he knows when to actually play your true balls. He actually attempts to do it on a regular basis. The one thing I think, was it last season, where he did that thing to Isak Spurs game,
The outside
foot pass, or the season before the Spurs game, right? So I think that actually shows he's daring enough to do it. And yes, our squad has actually, or the team in general, has actually missed him a lot when he's not playing.
So is he back or?
He's back, yeah.
He's just back.
Yeah.
He
just came back.
He just came back.
So last season there was a lot of false dawns for him. He came back, played one game or 2 games, and then after that you're out for like 2-3 months again. So hopefully this season his injury woes are past him, or behind him.
So that would improve the supplies to Isak, I guess. Right.
We can only hope.
Because Isak is the man of the match for that game.
Yeah, but maybe not supply to Isak per se, but I think it helps with the balance of the team.
Yes.
So I think on this point, right, when we missed Willock, we've tried a lot of different combinations. And I think a lot of Newcastle fans will tell you that things haven't been right over last season and this season as well. And I think the Arsenal game was probably the right amount of balance that we found in the midfield.
Yeah, of all games,
Right?
Of all games, eh?
I'm sorry to say.
Cannot find other games,
Look, right, so at the start of this season, I think we had Sandro Tonali back, and we all know Sandro Tonali came back because of his suspension for betting.
Done already, right?
Yeah, done already.
Yeah.
But you see, when you have him and Bruno Guimaraes playing, both are world-class players, but the midfield balance just wasn't right. And when you suddenly drop Tonali and you bring Joe Willock in, it changes the entire outlook on the team. So I do feel that
Tonali is this superstar that's coming in, everybody before his suspension, right? But now it seems that he a bit off. Isak is the more prominent attacking player.
We were just discussing amongst ourselves. I told the guys, between Bruno and Tonali, the both of them, they don't like to play on the half turn.
Yes.
Okay.
They want to be able to look in front of the field. So when Tonali plays that number 8 role, right? When he is pushing 10 meters in front of Bruno, he doesn't want to receive the ball facing the goal. So that is the problem. He doesn't want to make that half turn. So they are always into each other's spaces. And that's where our Sean Longstaff and our Joe Willock, being English, they have that tenacity to, you know what, you give me the ball, I will make that half turn for you. If I'm going to lose it, I'm going to lose it. Right? But because it's an English mentality thing, you know, you want to whack me on my feet, okay, so be it. But I'll stand and go. Right? Unlike these foreign superstar names where they don't want that physical battle. Not many will want to do that. So
he's one of them lah.
He's one of them.
So that is that's why we haven't gotten the balance between Bruno and Tonali. They simply don't want to play that half turn.
Is he the more expensive player transfers?
No.
Tonali was I think 60, so Tonali is more expensive.
Joe was Isak was also 60.
Yeah, but Bruno was I think 30 something 40. Yeah.
Joe was 40. Joelinton was 40.
Correct. And I mean, partly because also I feel Bruno G and Sandro Tonali are very similar players. Like I knew about Sandro Tonali when I was playing Football Manager. And I signed him for Milan on a free transfer, and I thought, wow, this player's damn good. But so then now you see him in real life doing it, then you realize that you can't play two players on the same style together, and it showed. That's why the balance was off. So before this Arsenal game, Newcastle's form really turned a little bit when we beat Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. So in that game, Bruno G was rested. Sandro Tonali played the Bruno G role, and from the match reports I read, because I didn't watch the game, but I read that he was class. He was controlling midfield. So it shows that they're not koyak players, you know. They can play, but I just think they cannot play with each other.
Maybe his fortune can turn around, like how Joelinton's fortune turns around. Actually, I have a lot of friends supporting Newcastle, so I'm actually quite updated a bit. So this Joelinton story, is very fascinating to me. Before these past few seasons, shout out to Mael and Matthew and all that, Farid as well. So before this, I think Joelinton was a striker. And after that, somehow nobody likes him, the way he played and all that. Then after that, I think Eddie Howe changed
him to a midfield role.
Became a holding midfield, tough midfielder role. And then and the rest is
And it just
history,
blossomed.
I guess.
So it was when Eddie Howe actually came in. And from a striker role, we started seeing him push back. Then he started becoming midfield. And we were all wondering, hey, what's going on?
It was because of the red card.
It was because of the red card.
Okay, fair.
Red card.
One game.
Yeah, it was Norwich in
game,
the first season that Eddie Howe took over. So it was 2021-2022.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a relegation 6-pointer at that time already against
Yeah.
Norwich.
Yeah.
We got an early red card because Kieran Clark, our centre back, did something stupid.
Yeah.
Was sent off. So we needed to shore up our back line of sorts, right? So Eddie Howe put Joelinton from the front line down to midfield. Centre midfield, and Joelinton version 2 was born. But you know what, just to be fair to him, before Joelinton came to Newcastle, he was at Hoffenheim.
Right.
And at Hoffenheim, he played a wide forward. So he played in that left inside forward position.
Kind of a role,
He played against us,
So
you
he's
know?
familiar lah.
So he's familiar,
Yeah.
and he did well there. So he wasn't actually an out-and-out striker, but I think Newcastle, we lack of players all the time, right? So you buy whoever it is and you just chuck them, and I think that's what happened to him, and he got a bit of bad rap. But when he started playing in the other positions he's comfortable with, I think he showed what kind of player he is. Physical, but also technically adept to be able to bring the ball forward as well. Yeah, we also missed him a bit.
I think the fact that he got called up to the Brazilian squad for a bit,
Oh, he did,
that shows he has quality. You see?
Yeah.
The Brazilian squad, okay, just sidetrack a bit. The Brazilian squad nowadays, I feel, is a bit different from the Brazilian squad that we are familiar with.
We grew up watching.
Yeah, the one we grew up
different,
watching.
the
Different,
flair. Now it's like more
Interesting.
physical. Bruno G, Paqueta, Joelinton, Anthony.
Some of the 90s ex-players, right, they say football nowadays no more creativity anymore. It's all about science and, more
It is.
what productive and all that.